Yeah, just tell me when you're on. Oh, you're on. Oh, shit. Okay. Fine. It's the perfect way to end an imperfect week. It's the perfect way to end an imperfect week. It's East Nashville Happy Hour with our very special guest, Guthrie Trapp. Thank you. And Bret.
Here we go.
Right on the wings of the angels of love who are on our side. It's the perfect way to end an imperfect week. Happy Friday, music fans! It's East Nashville. Happy Friday, music fans! It's East Nashville Happy Hour.
Is it Friday?
It feels like it.
It's Friday.
It's gonna be out on Friday.
Oh yeah, you gotta fucking edit because of those words.
Yeah.
Now, what we'll do
show
now is now we got all this riff-raff that's kind of going. I'll go back in and we're going to make adjustments to all the tacos.
With these guys, we're about to do a little East Nashville Happy Hour radio.
I met you like
Alright, she's drinking, alright, she's playing.
These are all good things. She hooks you in. She pulls you in with the good stuff.
Because it's a gesture.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration and a gesture.
It's a mutual celebration. And alright, so I got brisket. I don't think it's sliced
Give us a
though.
little bite of something.
Yeah, there's some wings over there. There's salsa right there.
Just one of these.
Amy has a.
Whatever. No.
The door's locked.
And I got. Hold on.
We'll have to tilt it down for when he cuts the brisket, okay?
Okay, it's hard to wrangle all these people, so I'm just going to introduce Guthrie Trapp, the guitarist extraordinaire, and Bret Tuck, head chef.
So we can say, hey, we've got musical guest Guthrie Trapp, and then I can come in and say, but you can't live on music alone, folks. Sometimes you need some fucking great barbecue from Edley's.
I like it. Let's do it.
I mean, that might be cheesy, but why not?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We just did it. We've got Guthrie Trapp, guitarist extraordinaire, Nashville's king of the sixth string.
I've been called worse.
King of the sixth string. Everybody say that? That's pretty good.
I like that.
My mom loves me. I just moved into this neighborhood about 2.5 months ago, and these gentlemen have taken the huge risk of letting me and Bret into their house with alcohol and women. Yeah. Just look out, folks. I'm just saying, look out.
It's going to be good.
Wait, there's women? We've already eaten food, I have to admit. We've already eaten food. Do you want to eat more food?
Sampler.
You stole a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
Bret Tuck is the head chef, correct?
Yes.
For Pancho and Lefty's. That's just opened right across from Bridgestone downtown.
Behind Ribby's on 5th.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
And holy shit, the tacos there are the best in Nashville that I've had. I'm not a taco connoisseur, but I like tacos, and I'm pretty sure that they're the best.
If you love those, you're a connoisseur now, man. They're the best.
And we just had Guthrie eating one, and well, let's just cut that part in here, right now. There. Guthrie Trapp eating the Pancho and Lefty's
Oh my God.
short rib taco.
Fantastic. Oh my
Fantastic.
God.
It's fucking good.
Wow. A lot of flavor going on there.
Flavor.
A lot of great texture.
I sold these.
I'm a huge fan of flour tortillas. I know a lot of people like corn.
I did the thing.
Great. I'm not sure what action with this sauce is. I think it's sour cream or something. But
Oh shit, I forgot to have the microphone next to you. I'm sure they got most of it. It's good.
fantastic. It's good.
Okay, that was good.
Bret Tuck also is co-owner of a not so little known barbecue restaurant in Nashville, Tennessee called Edley's Barbecue. They have a bunch of locations, and in my opinion, it's the best barbecue in town. Whenever my family comes to visit, that's where we go.
On my list, it says eat the food now, but is that, I mean, should we...
Let's talk about
if you're hungry.
Let's talk about
I think
the
we
food.
should go into this. Bret, can you come around real quick?
Yeah.
Bret
Right.
Tuck was generous enough. I had said to him over text, he said, how many people am I feeding? And I said, no, dude, you don't have to go to all this trouble. And he just basically wrote back, I got you. So whenever anyone writes back, I got you, it seems like they have you. And he came in, I don't know if we want to turn the camera, but he came in with these cardboard catering trays of, as you can see, it looks like Meals on Wheels with 20 times better food. We also bought a bottle of Macallan. What is that? Can you show this? This is the kind of class that we get.
East
here.
Nashville Happy Hour, brought to you by, what's it called? Macallan.
12 year.
Straight from the Pete Boggs.
If they sponsor y'all after this, y'all gotta give me free pay.
Hell yes.
For those of you who are home cooks, part of the reason why your brisket doesn't end up tasting the same way as it does in some of the best restaurants across the country is because you're not slicing it right. So Bret Tuck is going to give you a little demo on how to slice a wonderful hunk.
Are we
of
getting
beef
taught
brisket.
today?
I love this. We're incorporating some education into this bullshit.
All right, so this is half a brisket. But you can see.
What is a brisket?
Brisket is the titty of a cow, basically.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No wonder I like
Check
it so
pectoral
much.
muscle. So anyways, you see the grains of meat that run this way? You see that? You see them right there?
Do they always run left
see
to
that?
right on a?
No, there's
Oh,
two
it's
different.
diagonal,
There's two
yes.
different muscles on a brisket. So you got the knuckle and you got the plate.
Okay.
Or the flat. All right, and so they sit on like this. And so what we do at Edley's is we trim out the fat in the middle, so it sits down. You get it a little bit more even cook. We leave it whole, and we rub it in our rub that we made up a few years back.
Can you tell us what's a little bit of what's in it, kind of like a base?
Well,
or
it's
no?
bittersweet, kind of smoky is kind of what we went with. I went with a little bit more unique flavor, and then instead of just doing salt and pepper, we went with the rub, which is more of a Memphis-style rib thing, but we put it on the brisket.
Right.
And that's kind of how it came out, but I'm really looking for that sweet, bitter, kind of smoke kind of thing coming out, and that matches with our sauce, which is designed to be kind of in the middle of everything and kind of vinegary.
Would it be this?
Yeah, that's it right there.
Wonderful. Let's open that
And
up.
so it's kind of matched to do that, but it's a little different than your Texas brisket in the way we do our rub.
Now, Brett, what happens if you rub it the wrong way?
I can't.
Things pop up.
I can't with you.
Johnny Gill would be upset. Let's turn the camera. Brett.
Yeah.
Can you move to the side so we can
yeah.
actually see? Dean, bring that in closer because this is really important.
But I mean, and like this brisket, it's been holding for a few hours, so it's not like the freshest or anything like that. But that's why we don't do brisket at night.
Well,
Because
you guys run out quite a bit, man.
Well,
I mean,
we're supposed to. We only do for lunch only because we only have one smoker at most of our stores, and there's a 24-hour time rotation. So I can't really put a bunch of brisket on with chickens on things.
and
like
it's
that.
always fresh too. You can
Yeah,
always get
and then
guaranteed
brisket's
that
one of
you're
those
getting the
things that.
My fat gut's the only thing in the camera.
best. I think Guthrie had a question for you. Guthrie, what do you?
Oh
want to
yeah,
ask
what's up, dude?
Hey, Brett, this is Guthrie.
What's up, Guthrie?
Hey, I got a quick question for you. So, I lived in 12 South for 8 years on the other side of the river when you first opened your place, and I loved it. I was going there all the time, especially because of the Bushwhackers. I'm from the
brought
home of the
those.
Bushwhacker. Can you tell us what separates Edley's from all the other barbecue places in town?
Well, you know, there's a lot of other good ones in town. You know, Peg Leg's good, Martin's is great. I mean, they all have their own unique thing. I went just a little bit different, kind of try to do something a little different than your typical barbecue. Theirs isn't typical. It's good. It's very good, but
Right.
you know, it's more of traditional to me. And then we do that brioche bun, and we do those specials with the Kermit and
Right.
the tuck special with the egg and pimento cheese.
Right.
So we try to take a traditional thing, add a little something different to it,
Right.
and kind of go that route. But you know, I love Martin's. I love Peg Leg. They all do a great job. You know, we try to do something a little bit different and kind of our way and make it more unique to us.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the Tuck Special. Who's that named after?
I don't know that he's an asshole.
So, I love Edley's barbecue chicken sandwich. It's one of my favorite things in Nashville.
Oh, yeah?
With the white sauce. I mean, it's
Sweet.
incredible.
Well, I mean, those we brine the chicken, which
Yeah.
a lot of people will get away just throw it straight on. We brine it. We use great products. You know, when we purchase them at the beginning.
So you don't cut corners.
No, we don't cut corners, and we do everything in house, and that's why brisket is never reheated and sold. It's
Right.
I don't have a microwave in the buildings. I don't want if the ribs get a little cold, then either don't sell them or make them right in the oven or whatnot. But if
Yeah,
they're
or
not,
give them to homeless people.
exactly, man.
You had said that you were talking about Martins and Peg Legs. And
All right, we're good.
It's,
Holy shit! Look at
That's
that. Let's look at
phenomenal.
that for a minute.
That's phenomenal. There seems to be. It's kind of funny that you said it like that because it seems to be like some kind of fraternity among some of the best barbecue restaurants in the city.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, most people are pissed off at each other. You know, restaurants that do well have restaurants around that do well. It helps everybody out. If you look at towns, you know what I'm saying? If a neighborhood's doing well and everything around them doing well, the whole town's usually a really good town. Has great schools and everything else. Same thing with restaurants. Same thing with all kinds of business. If you have good, solid business in town, you know, and everybody supports each other and does it right, I think it's the way to go.
That's great.
Yeah,
Brings more people to the area. Brings people to, you know.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Dude, I
I
can't even
tell
pick
you,
it up.
that
It's so
is
tender.
bad to the bone. No
Oh,
pun
yeah.
intended. No, it's so good.
Should I put
I
the
love
sauce
it.
on it?
I love it.
Yeah, and do this side. This side's probably gonna be better. That side. That side was the end. So those. Here, I'll do
Very
this.
fun.
Yeah, use your
Look at
hands.
that. Look at that.
We know how you make. Oh, Jesus.
That is a chef. That is how
I know
chef
your
Mendel's
hands are all
food.
over this anyway, so.
There
God,
you go.
that is fucking awesome, man.
Guthrie, help yourself, please.
Are we still filming?
Yeah,
Kinda.
we can cut this out.
You know why I got so quiet? Because this
everybody
fucking
starts
food is
eating.
It's
great.
ridiculous, right? I thought it was really funny that looking at Dean's little cue cutter, it said
Where's that?
trap and tuck. And to me, it sounded like an instruction a high school football coach would give to his running back who fumbles a bunch. You know, it's like, get in there, trap and
Trap
tuck.
and tuck. I've
Trap
had to do
and
that
tuck.
a few times myself.
We should just have like a dad joke segment for Guthrie, you know?
Oh, let's make one.
Hold on. Ow! I don't work with props often, so when I do, it gets down.
Oh, you're doing a fine job. I don't know. When do we?
I did tell you guys, I do have somewhere to be tomorrow at 11.
That does change the night,
You're
doesn't
not
it?
gonna make
In every single interview Guthrie's done, I'm sure they talk about
I will
all
say
the.
this. I put the T in awesome, so don't fuck with me.
Guthrie's played with everybody,
No shit.
and we don't even want to talk about all the people he's played with because it's impressive. Just go to his website. You'll. Oh, jeez.
Let's just.
But every Wednesday he has. It's
Trapped
called
above ground at
Trapped
Acme.
Above Ground at Acme downtown on Broadway, but it's actually a cool spot on Broadway, Acme. And every Wednesday night, you
From 8 to 10, we do
From 8
some
to
live
10.
music down there. Also, I do a radio show on acmeradiolive.com. Easy for me to say. From 6 to 7 p.m. And believe it or not, I actually run a college program called Segway 61, which is a postgraduate music program. I have an online lesson school for my guitar techniques, and still do session work and do some light touring with John Oates and different songwriters around Nashville, and have a record that's going to come out sometime in the next 5 years, I promise. And I've got one. I've got one out already. You can check out all that stuff. That's my light little sales pitch there. But let's get back to the food and booze.
All right.
You know,
It is.
I can also juggle knives. if you
Okay,
don't like-
do that later.
My God.
We're gonna reel in the cats here. We're gonna reel in.
Trying not to laugh. I'm really trying.
No, we're not gonna get back to the food and booze.
Okay, all right. moving
Here's
right along.
our new segment. It's called Magical Musical Moment. And
But it's too good. I didn't
what
So,
moment, more than any other moment in your whole entire life, Guthrie, inspired you to become a musician? Go.
Well, can you repeat the question?
What?
There wasn't one moment, but there was a lot of moments because I was born into a family that was rich with music. My uncle was a great self-taught musician. My mom and dad weren't musically talented, but they had a huge wide variety of music that was around the house that I grew up listening to. Went to concerts forever. Never had a babysitter. All the parties we went to, I went to, and they all revolved around music, and I was always just around it from a kid, all the way up. So I think that's a huge part of people that really quote unquote have it as far as being a musician. They're around it from a young age, or something strikes them at a young age to where they get it. They get it. And the South has a special place for soul and blues and funk and jazz and R&B and bluegrass, and it's a very rich music culture, and I'm proud to be part of that. There was no top 40 radio, so it was all bluegrass, folk music, blues, jazz, rock and roll, funk, country, but I wasn't raised on any top 40 radio. I think that had a big part to do with it,
Yeah.
My favorite music is the roots,
Yes, I definitely had to find it later on in life. I was going Culture Club there at the beginning.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I love John Oates is one of my good friends. I work with him a lot. 80s rock and pop star and
Oh my gosh.
and that music. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. I love NXS. There's a lot of tunes and bands that I really like from that era. David Bowie and all that. There's a lot of music. The Police, Sting, all that stuff. I love a lot of that music from the 80s. And so anything that moves you as a musician, I consider good music. Like Ray Charles said, there's only two, or maybe Louis Armstrong said, there's only two kinds of music, good and bad.
Are you sure it's Louis Armstrong?
I think it's Louis Armstrong.
What if it's Ray Charles?
It might be Ray Charles,
Okay.
but I think it's Louis Armstrong. I'm a lifer musician. I've been doing it since I was 8 years old. Never had another job, knock on wood. I'm in this for the long haul. Playing gigs and sessions and stuff like that is our lifeline. We love that more than anything in the world. But another huge part of it is the friendships, the camaraderie, the time that we get to spend with people that we get to share something so close with. That's a huge part of it, and that's the part that I feel almost the most passionate about. Same with food. If you ask this guy a question right now, we can be drinking and fucked up as you could ever want to be. You start talking about food, this guy's going to get serious with you about what he's doing over here, because you can't not get serious when you have a high level of product like he does, and like with me and the musicians that I get to work with in Nashville are. So
Well, food and
it's a
music
beautiful
for
thing.
both of you guys, food and music is not something you go do and then go live your life. It's your life.
He can probably agree to this too, but when they say a job is something that you do from 9 to 5, and then when you get off, you want to do everything you can do to forget about it, which is why you go to Edley's and have 5 bushwhackers and some brisket.
Yeah, bushwhacker.
Or you go to Acme and hear some good music and have some cocktails. But a career is something that's with you for 24 hours a day. You might wake up in the middle of the night with an idea of something that you want to do.
Yep.
And that to me is when you got something that you can do for the rest of your life and be happy about. Something else is that the South gets a bad rap and all that, and I know we've had our checkered past, but there is a pretty incredible culture in Nashville especially. It's a one of a kind city in the South, and there's a few of them: New Orleans, Charleston, Savannah. Maybe Miami as far as the Cuban food culture and stuff like that, but really Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. There's a special thing going on there.
You can hear my voice, but I know where I'm from.
Yeah.
But and then you go and you travel, and you're like, oh, this is great. Same thing going to Europe or whatever. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
But you always end up home.
Right.
You
do.
You
Yeah,
always
you
end
do.
up in the South. Just it's the people.
It is. It's good people, good music, good food, and the fact that we kind of live for those things, you know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's when we're our happiest. When we're right here drinking, eating, hanging out, talking with you guys. We haven't even picked up an instrument yet. Still having a blast. You know.
It's community. That's why Edley's the motto is tribute to all things Southern. Which it's a little twist on that Southern hospitality that, you know, I'll give you a shirt off my back type attitude.
Right.
There you have it.
It's very funny though, when you talk about cities and you mention cities, usually for certain cities, the ones you had mentioned, I'll throw Kansas City out there, even though it's more of a Midwestern kind of city.
Right.
But when people talk about cities, they will say the first two things that come to their mind, let's say Kansas City, is the blues and barbecue.
Right.
You talk about Nashville, Tennessee, you talk about barbecue, Southern food, and music.
Right.
Right?
Now,
you talk about Miami, you talk about
Right.
Cuban
And I'll
music.
throw
and-
Austin, Texas into that.
For
mix,
sure.
too.
And they would say the
for
same
sure.
thing,
For
wouldn't they?
music and barbecue. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there really is
Yeah.
a huge connection between those two things. I don't really know
food,
what the...
food and music are they're very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
So like back in the day, you know, your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad, whoever, somebody could play an instrument, whether it's piano or whatever, or guitar or violin or whatever. But the community would get together, people would bring food, and bring their music.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. We
And
have it
I
all
had
here
that
today.
for
so-
centuries, you know.
Yeah, and it's still going on.
And so it kind of pairs up in that way, and there's an artistic expression in both, and it's all a little different, but all kind of the same in the same way.
And it's extremely human stuff too, because with the
It
way
is.
that things are right now with the internet and stuff like that, you can't replicate that. You can't
you can't.
do that with a computer.
And those things are pretty. They're, you could call them simple or basic or whatever, but you know, those are the things that are going to make people happy in the end. You know, everything else could go away. Electricity, your computers, your phones, your car, whatever. If you can still go out and light a fire.
That's right.
And make some barbecue.
Make some
You
food,
can still
play some
pick up an
music.
instrument and put strings on it and make some music. And if you do those two things,
It's a good
you're
time.
going to have a good time.
It's
Good
life.
time.
Yeah.
It's life.
Here, here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's a perfect.
Wonderful.
There you go. I feel like I'm on fucking Anthony Bourdain.
So sweet.
I know. Go for it, dude. It's so good. I don't know what I'm
Just
gonna
this
do.
really.
All this food, Jesus.
These tacos aren't going to go to waste, are they? Hey, the next step for this show is going wireless.
But then what would we do with the orb of truth?
I don't know. We could get two of them and juggle.
That's the orb of truth.
It brings things out. It's like Wonder Woman's lasso.
This is like the conversation stick. Whoever has this gets to talk, and then you hand it to somebody else, and then they get to talk.
Oh, right.
It's like
It's the
passing.
floor?
It's
the
like
concept
you're at the
in
floor.
Lord of the Flies.
Right.
That'll
Right.
never work.
Yeah.
It'll never work.
We could call this. We'll come up with something, folks. Don't worry.
It's the fucking orb of truth. We've got a new segment this week. It's about the one thing that you really want to get accomplished here shortly,
going live.
and the
Jesus
title
Christ.
and the title
I never
of this
thought my
new.
tits were this big until I looked at
Look
this
at me!
TV
I'm
screen.
right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Welcome to
Mine are a
the
little
glory.
harder.
Yeah, it was.
It's-
It's those
glass.
bushwhackers. Hey, speaking of that,
It's the new. Oh, you got one? There's here. Have mine.
well, that's the problem. You got to keep them cold.
They're in there. They're in the freezer.
All right, cool.
Would you like a glass?
Oh, I was so close to getting a segment done. Oh, I was so close. Go.
And we're
go,
back,
go,
baby.
Go. Go.
You know what
go,
this is, you know
go.
what we call that? A floater.
Is that right?
It's a floater.
It is now?
Oh, that's a floater.
Kind of a reverse floater when you
Maybe a
when
trap.
you pour it on top
Trap
of the
floater.
scotch.
Trap floater. Trap
It's a trap
floater.
floater. It's a trap.
The new segment that talks about the one thing you really want to accomplish here shortly is called Goals. What's your goal for the next
Goals.
year?
That
Yeah,
was so
goals.
long, I forgot the question.
Yeah, what's
Great
the,
tone,
what's-
by the way.
Thanks. What's
And pitch.
Ah,
Perfect
appreciate
pitch.
the next
was.
the next thing that's coming up for you musically? Or anything, really. But
Well,
but I know that you have an album coming.
my goal for tonight is to get from your house to the 5 spot without getting a DUI.
I would say Lyft. I would say Lyft over Uber. Because the Uber drivers are all drunk too. You
That's
want
my
Lyft.
most immediate goal for
Okay.
this
No,
evening.
you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it if I have to
No,
carry
just
you
kidding,
there on
just
my
kidding.
back.
No, my car is safe parked.
Yes, it's a nice street. We're not gonna tell you which
Safely
street,
parked right outside.
but it's a nice, safe street.
Right. It depends on how immediate we're talking, but for the near future, getting this record done. I've got some great special guests that are going to be on there. Some vocal guests on this record that'll be refreshing. Getting that done is a priority, of course, but then the stuff that you do on your own takes a back burner to what you're doing to make a living. So the college program, getting these students signed up for the next year here has been a priority. Keeping my show and radio show going down at Acme has been good for the past 3 years. The Artist Works online guitar lesson school out of Napa, California, where I've got over 600 students worldwide. That's been a great thing over the past couple of years. Please check that out if you're interested in any electric guitar techniques. And beyond. There's a lot of great teachers on that site, from John Patitucci, Nathan East, Brian Sutton, Mike Marshall.
Holy shit.
The list goes on and on and on. I do the country electric guitar, but of course we get into much different things other than just country.
Do you think electric
But, yeah.
country will ever catch on? I thought that was a pretty cool.
Well, it did. It was big in the '60s.
Electric country. One word, electric country.
I like the Electric Horseman personally. The great movie, but okay, well,
all right.
never mind.
It's good.
So,
What's
yeah.
your favorite movie?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm a huge movie buff, so God, that's a tough one. I like one of the greats that everybody needs to go back and watch is Raising Arizona.
I've seen it a lot.
with-
That is a pit.
I've seen it a lot.
Nicolas
but yeah,
Cage
go for it.
before he was an action figure. You know what I mean? What about you? Movies? Top 2, 3 favorite movies.
Everybody knows that my favorite movie is Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That's a great one. How about these guys?
Oh, my number one is Caddyshack. Brett, what do you got?
Here we go, Bret.
Top favorite movie of all time?
Three,
Yeah,
dude.
top
Three.
Well, number one though, we
That's
gotta have a number one.
impossible. I'm thinking like Forrest Gump.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I think that's a classic, like
is.
one of those classic all-American badass movies.
Hey, there's no move to the couch tonight. We're gonna show some Guthrie live footage for you. So thanks for joining us at East Nashville Happy Hour. And holy shit, this was a goddamn shit show.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. My God, we went through a whole bottle of Macallan almost.
Well, almost 3/4.
Well, that's
Actually, I
a
wouldn't
little
even
over
say-
half.
Yeah.
A little over half.
You didn't think these were good? I thought they were pretty good.
No, I thought they're great. They make me laugh though,
Man, I don't know
except when I was reading them.
Yeah, I don't know what
You did a good job with that one. You read that really well.
Thank you.
You don't like that joke?
The hits there? All right, boys, that was fun. Shit, yeah.
So long, folks, and thanks, Harry.
See you next episode, everybody.
Bye.